The galaxy holds its breath as the alien empire unveils its greatest weapon. A fleet so vast that entire star systems fall silent just watching the live transmission. They call it the Eternal Wall, a war fleet covered in shimmering, layered armor said to be stronger than neutron steel. The light from distant suns reflects off the black hulls, making them look like a wall of dark glass stretching across the void. The alien commanders stand before billions of viewers, proud and laughing. They tell the galaxy that humanity's days are over, that no weapon can ever pierce their armor, that their victory will be so easy it will become a legend. Across hundreds of worlds, alien citizens cheer, raising their banners high, believing this will be the final war. Their voice echoes on every channel, mocking humans, calling them weak and fragile. They say humans still use primitive tools, outdated fleets, old weapons. They believe that brute strength alone will crush the Terran defense. They believe that no human weapon will leave a single scratch on their armored ships. But in the far edges of the galaxy, orbiting a dying star that no one remembers, a human base floats in the dark. Its surface is black, absorbing the faint red light of the fading sun. Inside, the air is heavy with silence. Human generals stand in a dim command room, faces lit only by the glow of tactical screens. On those screens, the alien broadcast plays in real time. Their loud laughter echoes softly through the speakers, but no human in the room speaks. No one laughs back. Their eyes are cold and sharp, trained on every detail of the alien ships, every line of armor, every weak point the aliens think does not exist. One of the generals, an older man with gray streaks in his hair, tilts his head slightly and whispers, almost like he's speaking to himself. They really think armor can stop us. The others don't reply. They don't need to. They all know what's waiting in the shadows. Around them, deep under the command floor, massive railgun cores hum softly, like a sleeping beast. No light escapes their weapon bays. No signal leaks out. For years, humanity built in silence, away from cameras, away from eyes. No alien has ever seen the full power of these weapons. They were never meant to. The alien broadcast cuts to their fleet in motion. Thousands of ships glide through space in perfect formation, like an iron tide swallowing the stars. Their capital ships are massive, each the size of a continent. Their armor plates are so thick that even their own weaponry can't dent them. The alien commentators talk about how human railguns will bounce off like pebbles on steel. They mock the silence from Earth, calling it cowardice. But in reality, Earth is not silent out of fear. Earth is silent because it knows exactly what's coming. In the shadows behind the dying star, black human warships float like ghosts. No signals, no beacons. They are invisible against the cold black of the void. Each one carries a railgun longer than entire alien destroyers, their barrels glowing faintly with energy. They have been charging for weeks, waiting for this day. Every technician, every engineer on those ships moves with steady hands. There is no panic, no doubt. Humanity is not afraid. The alien empire believes they are the hunters, but they do not see that they are walking into the jaws of something far older and far colder. Human strategy has always been patience. While aliens built their flashy armors and shining fleets, humans worked in silence. They learned the physics of penetration, kinetic energy, speed. Where aliens trusted metal to protect them, humans trusted math. And math does not lie. In the command center, one of the screens zooms in on the alien flagship. It is a monstrous ship, a black titan with glowing gold edges. Alien crowds cheer as it sails past their homeworld. The alien emperor himself stands on the bridge of that ship, hands behind his back, smiling. He believes he's untouchable. He believes no weapon in the galaxy can touch his armor. His speech is loud and arrogant. He calls humanity a primitive mistake that will be erased in one battle. The galaxy listens. Every ally nods in agreement. Every enemy watches in fear. But humanity listens in silence. One of the human generals slowly reaches for the intercom. His voice is calm, not loud. Begin pre-fire checks. Across the black fleet, thousands of lights blink on. Deep inside the hulls, crews sit in silence, helmets on, eyes fixed on their stations. They don't shout. They don't celebrate. They know what they're about to do. In the lower decks, the railgun cores spin up, their hum turning into a deep, steady vibration that spreads through the entire ship like a heartbeat. Energy readings rise. Magnetic coils tighten. The old dying star behind them casts a weak red light, but it's enough to make the ships look like shadows wrapped in blood. Outside, the void is silent. The alien fleet doesn't even know the humans are there. They think they're marching toward Earth. They think they'll arrive unchallenged. But in truth, they're already surrounded. The alien commander raises his voice, promising to burn Earth in a single strike. The alien broadcast shows their fleet accelerating. Their armor gleams like the surface of a frozen ocean. Inside the human warship command room, a young operator whispers, "Targeting complete." The general nods slowly, his face still unreadable. "Then let's show them." A quiet chime echoes through the ship. All over the Black Fleet, massive railguns align. The barrels point toward the alien wall. No lights give them away. No heat signatures betray them. The first shot is not loud. It's silent. A slug of tungsten is launched at incredible speed, faster than the alien sensors can register. It leaves no flash, no warning. It just vanishes into the dark. Then, thousands more follow, each a silent hammer aimed at a specific point on the alien armor. They fly through the void, faster than sound, faster than light can warn. On the alien flagship, alarms suddenly scream. The Emperor turns sharply. His sensors show nothing, then everything at once. A small, invisible object is already slamming into their forward hull. For a single fraction of a second, their armor resists. Then the tungsten slug rips through it like paper. The impact sends a shockwave through the entire ship. Armor layers bend inward, bulkheads snap, energy shields shatter before they can even activate. The ship's lights flicker. The Emperor grips the railing as the entire bridge tilts. The broadcast freezes mid-sentence. Billions of viewers lean closer to their screens, confused. Another impact follows, then another, then hundreds. One by one, the strongest warships in the galaxy are hit by a storm they cannot see. Their armor peels away, layer by layer, as if it was nothing but soft cloth. In the human command room, no one cheers. They simply watch. Each shot lands exactly where it was meant to. They had mapped every weak point months ago. The alien fleet had trained to fight beams and plasma. They had never trained to stop this. Railgun slugs do not glow. They do not give warnings. They do not care about armor thickness. They only care about speed, density, and impact. One of the generals leans closer to the display as the alien flagship splits in half like cracked stone. He whispers, "Told you. Armor doesn't stop math." The other officers allow themselves the smallest of smiles. The alien broadcast collapses into chaos. Reporters scream. Commanders shout. Viewers see their legendary fleet breaking apart without understanding why. They had been promised invincibility. They had been promised strength. But strength without understanding means nothing. The alien emperor tries to give orders, but his bridge is filled with smoke and screaming. His armor, once the pride of the empire, is now scattered debris floating through space. His fleet does not even get the chance to fire back. Meanwhile, in the void behind the dying star, humanity stays invisible. They do not reveal their location. They do not broadcast their victory. This is not a show for the galaxy. This is a lesson. For centuries, the galaxy laughed at Earth. They mocked its slow ships, its outdated weapons, its silence. But humanity was never weak. Humanity was waiting. As the alien fleet burns quietly in the black, the human railguns finish their first wave of fire. Thousands of alien ships are now broken husks, their armor shattered like glass under a hammer. The galaxy has just witnessed the moment when arrogance met reality. Inside the human flagship, the general closes his hands behind his back and looks at the silent tactical screen. His voice is low, controlled, as if this was just another day. "This is only the beginning," he says. His officers nod in silence. Outside, the alien fleet floats in darkness. their unbreakable armor now nothing more than drifting shards of metal. The railguns power down, their humming fading like a beast going back to sleep. The dying star burns weakly in the distance, reflecting off the wreckage like blood in the void. And somewhere in the galaxy, rulers who once mocked Earth now whisper in fear. They thought armor would save them. They were wrong. Humanity has spoken, not with words, but with a single silent shot. The alien fleet moves through the void like a black wall, confident and arrogant, their engines burning with blue fire that stretches across entire light minutes of space. Every alien commander speaks as if victory is already written, their voices echoing through open frequencies, mocking humanity and daring them to respond. Their capital ships lead the charge, surrounded by smaller cruisers and interceptors, all perfectly aligned in a battle formation designed to crush anything in their path. The alien emperor himself stands on the bridge of the flagship, hands behind his back, smiling at the stars ahead. He believes this is the day humanity dies. Across the galaxy, alien citizens watch the live broadcast, cheering, waving their flags, chanting victory songs, convinced they are witnessing the fall of the last free humans. To them, it's not a war, it's a hunt. They believe no one can stop their armor, that no one can even slow them down. But what they don't know is that humanity has already marked them. Their positions, their speeds, their formations all locked and tracked by railgun targeting systems hidden in deep shadow. Far behind a dying star, black human warships remain unseen, cold and silent, their engines off, blending into the void like ghosts. Inside those ships, the atmosphere is tense but not fearful. The crews move like they've done this 1,000 times before. There are no loud voices, no desperate cries. There is only quiet precision. A young targeting officer whispers the range numbers under his breath, fingers gliding across the console. Railgun barrels adjust by millimeters, tracking the first target with deadly calm. In the command room, the human general stares at the glowing red outline of the alien flagship, a thin smile pulling at the corner of his mouth. He knows the aliens are too focused on their own arrogance to realize they're walking into a kill zone. They think they're the predators, but tonight, they're prey. A low vibration spreads through the warship as the railgun coils fully charge. The entire fleet is synchronized down to the second. This is not a chaotic attack. This is a carefully built trap, designed years in advance. The alien ships cross the invisible line of engagement. The flagship broadcasts one last message, promising the destruction of Earth in a single strike, laughing like the outcome is already decided. Their commanders don't even raise shields, believing their armor is all they need. That arrogance will cost them everything. In the human flagship, a calm voice cuts through the silence. Fire! There's no countdown, no dramatic music, no warning. A silent flash bursts from the railgun barrels, too fast for any alien sensor to react. One tungsten slug after another slices through the void like invisible blades. The first slug travels at 20 kilometers per second, carrying so much kinetic energy that nothing can withstand its impact. It doesn't glow. It doesn't make sound. It simply moves with unstoppable force. A few light seconds ahead, the alien flagship doesn't even have time to register the shot. 1 second, its armor gleams under the distant stars. The next, the front hull caves in like paper. The slug rips through 12 layers of neutron steel, through the central command deck, and out the back of the ship, leaving a glowing wound that vents superheated plasma into space. The entire front section folds inward, alarms scream, and the Emperor's smile vanishes as the deck beneath him tilts. He grips the railing, shouting orders no one can follow fast enough. Their invincible armor has been pierced, torn apart like it was nothing. In less than a heartbeat, the alien flagship loses power to its main engines, drifting slightly off course. Billions watching across the galaxy gasp in confusion, not understanding how their strongest ship is bleeding fire into the void. But humanity doesn't stop at one shot. This isn't a warning. This is war. The second wave of slugs is already in motion, streaking through the black like invisible thunder. Dozens of alien cruisers are hit almost at the same time. Hulls buckle, decks collapse, reactors explode silently in the void, and the clean formation of the alien fleet shatters like glass struck by a hammer. The alien commanders yell over each other, trying to figure out where the attack is coming from. But there is nothing to see. No beams, no bright weapons, no enemy signatures, just impact after impact, tearing their unbreakable armor apart like it was made of paper. Some ships spin out of formation, colliding with others. Some are cut clean in half. Their perfect, proud fleet is already starting to crumble before they've fired a single shot. Inside the human flagship, the general doesn't celebrate. He simply watches the tactical screen as each red turns gray, one after another, like falling dominoes. This was always the plan. The aliens built their entire strategy around armor and intimidation, but they never prepared for a weapon they couldn't see. Humanity's railguns are not about spectacle. They are about results. One shot, one kill, no warning, no sound. The alien emperor slams his fist on the console, demanding to fire back, but his gunners are blind. They don't know where to aim. Their sensors show empty space. Their enemies might as well be ghosts. One of his captains screams that they're taking hits from nowhere. Another shouts that their armor is not holding. The emperor's proud smile is gone now, replaced by pure disbelief. His entire doctrine, his entire empire, is being ripped apart in silence. One alien destroyer tries to fire randomly into the void, launching plasma bolts in all directions like a panicked animal. None of the shots hit anything, but one railgun slug finds it cleanly. It enters through the side, exits through the engines, and the ship folds inward like an aluminum can under a hammer. Its reactor implodes, leaving nothing but burning debris spinning in zero gravity. Another battleship tries to retreat, engines roaring, but a tungsten slug slices through its engines, cutting it down before it can accelerate. Everywhere in the alien formation, chaos erupts. Their tight formation becomes a storm of spinning metal and burning wrecks. Their shields come up too late, and even when they do, they're useless. Railgun slugs don't care about energy fields. They punch through everything. In the galaxy's countless viewing rooms, the cheering stops. Alien citizens who were mocking humanity only minutes ago now stare at their screens in silence, watching their legendary fleet fall apart in real time. They were promised a swift victory, a glorious march to Earth. But what they're seeing is a slaughter. They see the strongest ships ever built burning quietly, torn apart by an enemy they can't even see. The alien commentator's voice cracks as he tries to explain, but there's nothing to explain. Their empire's pride is dying before their eyes. The alien emperor stumbles on the shaking deck as another slug tears through the rear of his flagship. Control panels explode. Crew members are thrown against walls. Fire spreads across the bridge, and the alarms drown out everything. He screams orders into a dead comm line. He had mocked humanity, called them primitive, but in this moment he understands the truth. Humans are not primitive. They are patient. They are precise. They are predators who strike only once and never miss. Their silence was never weakness, it was the calm before impact. Back in the human fleet, railguns continue their silent song. The gunners breathe steadily, their hands steady, their eyes locked on their screens. They do not need to shout or cheer. They simply execute the plan. One target after another falls. The aliens don't even know where the shots are coming from. The first strike has already broken their morale. The second is destroying their command. The third will end their will to fight. The general stands with his arms folded, watching the alien flagship systems fail one by one. His expression doesn't change. This was always how it was going to end. The galaxy may have believed in armor, but humanity believed in something far deadlier: accuracy. The alien fleet tries to regroup, their formation bending into chaos. Their war songs are replaced by static. Their proud voices are now screams. A fleet that was supposed to crush Earth in one glorious sweep has just lost its advantage in seconds. Humanity hasn't even moved their ships yet. All they did was fire once. The silence around the human fleet is almost colder than space itself. Every slug still flying through the dark carries the weight of years of quiet preparation. This is not revenge. This is strategy. This is the moment the galaxy realizes humanity doesn't roar before it strikes. It whispers. It watches. And then it kills. The aliens thought armor could save them. They were wrong. The first strike has been delivered. And it's only the beginning. The alien commanders scramble across their bridges as chaos spreads like wildfire through their once perfect formation. Their voices overlap in a storm of panic, the sharp, controlled language of war replaced by cracked shouts and desperate commands. Moments ago, their fleet had been a wall of steel, disciplined and untouchable, but now it's a battlefield graveyard forming in real time. Explosions ripple silently through the void as more railgun slugs slam into their armored ships. What was supposed to be invincible armor crumples like soft clay under a hammer. One commander pounds his fist on the console, demanding sensor locks, but the screens show nothing. There are no human ships visible. No engine flares. No heat signatures. Just cold, empty darkness. The shots come from nowhere, striking with surgical precision. A cruiser on the left flank loses its entire bow in one hit, spinning helplessly as debris spreads through the fleet. A destroyer on the far side explodes from the inside out, the slug having torn straight through its reactor core. And worst of all for the aliens, no matter how many ships fall, no human voice, no threat, no demand comes over the comms. Just silence. The alien emperor stands in the center of his flagship bridge, his hands gripping the railing so tightly his knuckles turn white. His perfect smile from before is gone. His eyes scan the damage reports coming in from every corner of his armada. Whole divisions gone in seconds. Flagships crippled. Command lines broken. The fleet he called Eternal is bleeding, drifting like helpless animals in a black ocean. He shouts at his officers to raise shields and fire everything they have, but the railgun slugs are faster than their reactors can respond. Shields flicker to life only after the impacts, useless like umbrellas in a hurricane. One officer yells that they should retreat, another screams that they must counterattack, but no one knows where to shoot. Their targeting systems show empty space. Feels like they're fighting ghosts. The alien emperor slams his fist again, his voice breaking for the first time. Where are they? Where are the humans? But there is no answer. The universe around him remains cold and silent. Across the alien fleet, mockery turns to terror. Just minutes ago, they were laughing over open channels, boasting of human surrender. Now their comms are filled with screams, static, and broken commands. One captain begs for reinforcements. Another sends out blind firing orders, their heavy plasma cannons lighting up the void randomly, but none of it hits anything. In fact, their desperate firing only exposes their positions more clearly to human targeting systems. Another wave of slugs cuts through their ranks like invisible scythes. A battleship on the right flank takes 3 hits in a row. The first breaks its armor, the second shreds its internal decks, and the third slices straight through the engine core. The explosion is silent but brutal, its hull tearing apart like paper. Shrapnel spins into nearby ships, damaging them before they even understand what happened. The Emperor's voice echoes through the fleet, but instead of inspiring confidence, it fuels the panic. He had promised them safety behind their armor. That promise is now ash. Inside the human fleet, hidden in the cold dark behind the dying star, the mood is the opposite. There is no chaos, no shouting, no emotion. The human command center glows dimly with red tactical light. The general stands like a statue, his hands behind his back, watching the alien formation collapse with quiet focus. Every railgun operator follows exact firing protocols. Their breathing is calm, their movements practiced, as if they've trained for this moment 1,000 times. On the big screen, alien ships blink out one by one, red icons fading into gray wreckage. Humanity has not spoken a single word to the aliens. Their silence is louder than any threat. They want the enemy to feel the weight of not knowing where death comes from. This is psychological warfare, clean and deliberate. The enemy cannot shoot back at what it cannot see. They cannot defend against what they cannot comprehend. The alien admiral on the western flank screams for the fleet to form up. He tries to gather the surviving cruisers into a defensive ball, but the human railguns have already marked them. A single slug tears through his flagship's side, cutting through the bridge like a hot knife. The ship doesn't explode right away. It folds, twisting under the pressure, and then tears itself apart in total silence. The Admiral's voice is gone from the comms before anyone realizes. Dozens of alien officers shout for leadership. No one answers. Their fleet isn't just taking physical damage. It's losing its structure, its unity. One commander breaks formation entirely, trying to flee, but he's struck before he can accelerate. His ship spinning out into darkness like a broken toy. Panic spreads fast, faster than the railgun slugs themselves. A fleet that believed it was invincible is now a scattered herd, confused and terrified. The alien emperor stares at the main display as ship after ship turns gray. He sees his carefully built empire's pride disintegrating in minutes. He tries to speak to the galaxy through his broadcast line, but the signal is broken by static and failing systems. Billions of alien citizens watch in horror from their homes, their cheers frozen in their throats. The great eternal fleet, the one they believed no one could touch, is being destroyed in total silence. No glorious battle, no heroic last stand, just cold, calculated destruction. Some viewers scream at their screens, others remain frozen, watching their heroes die like insects under an invisible hand. This was supposed to be a victory to celebrate. Instead, it is a nightmare playing live across the stars. Inside the flagship of the human fleet, the railgun batteries continue to fire with mechanical precision. Each shot is calculated down to fractions of a second, aimed not at random but at key structural weaknesses in alien armor. One slug punches through a main power relay on an enemy dreadnought, shutting down its entire reactor in a heartbeat. Another slices through a weapons deck, silencing its cannons forever. The humans have mapped this fleet for months. They know exactly where to hit to cause maximum damage with minimum effort. A technician quietly confirms that 92% of their first targets are already destroyed or disabled. The general nods once, expression steady. He doesn't need to celebrate. This is what humanity was built for. Quiet, precise, devastating. Back in the alien ranks, screams echo through the internal comms as life support systems fail on multiple ships. Fire tears through decks. Escape pods launch in panic, drifting helplessly into the void. The alien emperor finally gives the order to return fire in every direction. A wild, unfocused storm. Thousands of beams and plasma bolts blaze out in every direction, lighting up the void like a burning sun. But it's useless. The humans stay dark, silent, invisible. Their ships are positioned far beyond what the alien targeting systems were designed to detect. The alien fleet is firing blindly into space, burning their own power reserves, achieving nothing but revealing their terror. The human general finally speaks softly to his crew. They thought armor would save them, he says, almost like a whisper. But fear spreads faster than fire. His crew remains silent, focused. Railguns charge again. The targeting lines tighten. Another wave of tungsten slugs is prepared to fly. On the alien side, the Emperor stares at the chaos he can no longer control. His invincible wall is gone. His soldiers are no longer fearless warriors. They are prey, panicked and scattered. His glorious fleet is not fighting. It's dying. And somewhere out in that dark, cold void, humanity is smiling without saying a word. This isn't just a battle. It's a message. Mockery has turned into fear, and fear is only the beginning of their fall. The void begins to change. What was once an empty stretch of black space behind the dying star slowly awakens, as if something vast and ancient had been waiting there in complete silence. One by one, invisible shapes take form, outlined by the faint light of the collapsing alien formation. Black ships, angular and predatory, emerge from shadow like beasts stepping out of the dark. Their hulls absorb every trace of starlight, their presence almost unnatural, like void-born hunters built to disappear. Humanity's fleet reveals itself, not with explosions, not with noise, but with precision. Thousands of railgun warships, carrier fortresses, and long-range strike cruisers glide forward in perfect formation. Their engines barely whisper. Their movements are calculated like the ticking of a clock. And as they step into the light, the entire alien fleet realizes the awful truth. Humanity wasn't running. Humanity wasn't hiding. Humanity was waiting. The alien emperor stares at the tactical display as hundreds, then thousands of human signatures flood the sensors. For the first time in this war, he sees their real numbers. What he thought was a single ambush is actually a wall of steel and power larger than his entire eternal fleet. The alien bridge falls silent. Officers who had been screaming seconds ago are now frozen, staring at the growing wave of Terran warships moving like a black tide. The Emperor's breath catches in his throat. They had told him humans were fractured, weak, scattered remnants clinging to their homeworld. They had told him that Earth was isolated, defenseless, too small to threaten an empire. But those words were lies. And now, as the Terran fleet fully ignites its engines, the void itself seems to shake. Inside the Terran flagship, every deck is alive with controlled energy. Officers call out coordinates, targeting solutions, and ship movements with steady, focused voices. No one is panicking. They've trained for this for years in silence. Every ship knows its position, its role, its objective. This isn't a desperate defense. This is a calculated strike designed to break an empire. The Terran general stands at the center of the command deck, hands behind his back, eyes locked on the holographic projection of the alien formation. His voice is calm, almost cold, as he says, "Advance the wall, tighten the formation, let them see us now." A quiet series of acknowledgments echo through the ship. And with that, the Terran fleet moves as one, like a blade being drawn from its sheath. The alien fleet, still reeling from the Railgun barrage, stares at the impossible sight of humanity's armada. Their sensor officers report the numbers again and again, thinking it must be a glitch. It's not. Humanity has hidden an entire fleet behind a dying star, camouflaged under layers of distortion fields and cold hull technology. Every capital ship that slides out of the shadows carries railguns longer than the alien battleships themselves, their barrels glowing with a low blue pulse. Drone carriers emerge next, releasing swarms of small, needle-like crafts that scatter into perfect attack formations. These are not the broken fleets the aliens expected. This is a war machine built with patience and strategy, forged for this exact moment. The alien emperor takes a step back from the command console, his heart hammering. His entire strategy was built on intimidation. Their armor was their pride. Their numbers were their confidence. But now, facing the Terran fleet, everything feels small. His officers whisper nervously, their voices no longer sharp, their arrogance gone. Some of them already understand they're not winning this. Some of them know this battle was lost before it even began. The humans never came to plead. They came to end. On the Terran side, the Black Fleet spreads wide, surrounding the alien formation like a net closing on trapped prey. Not a single ship breaks discipline. They move with terrifying grace, slow and precise, their engines burning cold blue in the darkness. Railgun towers rotate in perfect unison, locking onto targets with mathematical precision. The alien flagship is still burning from earlier impacts, its armor glowing red at the edges. The Emperor watches as targeting markers light up across his entire fleet. Every alien ship now has a human counterpart aiming at it. The human general gives a single nod. The sky is about to fall. The alien commanders shout desperate orders to regroup, to form a new line, to create some kind of defensive wall, but the fleet is fractured. Half their cruisers are drifting. Their formations are broken. Their coordination is gone. What remains are scattered groups of ships trying to face an army that had already outmaneuvered them before the first shot was ever fired. Some captains scream to retreat. Others scream to hold position. Their voices blend into useless noise. The alien emperor roars at them to fight, to remember their armor, but deep inside, he feels the fear that's spreading through his command like a disease. Their armor had already failed them. Their pride has already been shattered. The Terran flagship looms closer now, a massive black fortress with no glowing lights, only the cold outlines of its structure reflecting faint starlight. Its presence alone feels heavy, like a silent judge ready to deliver a final sentence. In its forward section, the main railgun is fully charged. It hums low, a sound only the human crew can hear, deep and steady like the heartbeat of a beast. Smaller ships fall into escort positions, fighters and drones spread wide to cut off any escape. The alien emperor's tactical officer whispers, "They've surrounded us." The words hang in the air like a death sentence. Then the human fleet does something the aliens didn't expect. It doesn't fire. It just waits. It shows its size, its strength, its control. Humanity could destroy them at this moment. But they don't. The silence is worse than an attack. The alien crews stare at the growing wall of Terran warships and feel their courage leaking away. This is psychological warfare at its sharpest. The Terran general knows exactly what he's doing. He lets the fear dig deep into their bones before crushing them. He wants every alien captain to realize they are not facing a small rebellion. They are facing a predator that has waited centuries to strike back. The alien emperor slams his hand on the console, screaming for an attack, anything to break this suffocating silence. A few alien cruisers obey, firing plasma bolts and beam lances at the Terran wall. But the shots never land. Terran ships twist, dodge, and countermaneuver with precision that no alien ship can match. Their hulls ripple with adaptive shielding, absorbing or evading most of the hits. When the plasma bolts fade, the Terran fleet hasn't taken a single casualty. The alien officers watch their proud weapons become meaningless flashes of light. The Terran general gives his next order, a whisper that cuts through the command room like a blade. Now, they see us. Next, they fall. Across the Terran fleet, the railguns adjust their aim. Drones accelerate into attack positions. Ships lock their formation into a kill net. The void is now fully theirs. The alien fleet is trapped, surrounded, and outmatched. The moment they thought humanity was weak was the moment they walked into the jaws of something far deadlier. Humanity steps out of the shadows not as prey, but as the hunter that's been waiting all along. And the galaxy will remember this silence before the storm forever. The alien emperor's order to attack shatters whatever fragile discipline remains in his fleet. Plasma beams, fusion torpedoes, and energy lances erupt into the void in a wild storm of fire. Bright lines cut through the black, tracing across the stars like a desperate scream. The alien fleet throws everything it has, every weapon system firing at full capacity, as if overwhelming force can undo the terror creeping into their bones. The sky becomes a sea of chaotic light, and for a brief second, they believe this is how they will turn the tide. But as the storm reaches the human formation, it breaks like waves against a cliff. Terran ships are not caught in the blast. They move through it with eerie precision, their formations folding and unfolding like a living organism. Every plasma bolt misses. Every torpedo is intercepted by invisible kinetic screens. Every beam dissolves into cold black armor that drinks in the energy without flinching. The aliens had expected panic. Instead, they are met with silence and calculation. Inside the Terran flagship, not a single officer raises their voice. Tactical screens fill with glowing red markers showing every alien attack vector. But no one is alarmed. The general stands tall, his eyes fixed on the enemy formation unraveling in panic. His crew knows their positions, their paths, their role. For years, they trained not to fight loud, desperate battles, but to fight like surgeons, clean, silent, merciless. A calm command cuts through the bridge like a blade. Initiate counterstrike. The Terran fleet responds instantly. Without any flashy buildup, the first wave of railgun fire tears through the void. A silent rain of tungsten slugs moving so fast that the alien sensors can't even track their paths. No explosions mark their launch. No light betrays their location. Only their impact announces their arrival. The first alien dreadnought takes 2 direct hits. The slugs pierce its central reactor like a spear through soft clay, and the massive ship bends, snaps, and tears itself apart from the inside out. A glowing fireball bursts silently, its fragments scattering through its own formation. 2 more follow. Their plasma cannons die mid-fire. Their shields collapse without resistance. Alien ships turn to escape routes that no longer exist. The Terran fleet surrounds them like a closing fist. A cruiser on the right flank tries to accelerate away, but a slug punches through its engines, tearing the entire rear section off like paper. Another ship launches countermissiles, but human intercept drones cut through them before they can travel 100 kilometers. The aliens had entered this fight believing they were gods of war. Now they're discovering what real war looks like when their arrogance meets a species that has built everything to kill gods. On the alien flagship, alarms wail like a beast in pain. Fire bursts across the bridge. Crew members scream as consoles explode, throwing sparks into the air. The Emperor grips the railing, staring at the tactical display as ship after ship goes dark. The Terran fleet hasn't slowed. Their ships glide through the chaos like black blades slicing through a storm. He shouts for his captains to reform the lines, to keep fighting, but the words are meaningless now. His fleet is no longer a fleet. It's broken glass scattered in the dark. His captains either can't hear him through the static or are already dead. The very people who cheered his arrogance now choke on the silence of their own destruction. Meanwhile, the Terran general lowers his head slightly, eyes narrowing. Begin the cut. Across the Terran formation, ships shift their positions in a coordinated sweep. They target the alien fleet not in random bursts but in surgical strikes, hitting engines first, cutting off movement before crushing everything else. Railguns hammer the alien flank until it caves in entirely, their armor peeling away like brittle shells. Human drones swarm disabled ships like vultures, ensuring nothing escapes. A second wave of Terran carriers releases orbital kinetic lances that fall through the enemy's backline like meteors. Explosions ripple silently. The aliens have no time to react, no time to breathe. They are being dissected piece by piece. An alien captain, his voice shaking, opens a channel to the Emperor. We can't hold them. Their weapons, our armor, it's useless. The line cuts off as his ship takes a railgun slug through its bridge, splitting the vessel in half. The Emperor screams, his rage twisted with something he's never felt before: helplessness. He turns to his strategist, who stands pale and shaking. Where are they even firing from? The Emperor roars. The strategist can only whisper, everywhere. That's the truth. Humanity doesn't have one ship. It has an army that fights like one organism. No single alien ship can find a direction to counter. Every movement they make has already been anticipated, mapped, answered. The Emperor begins to understand. He is not fighting a chaotic enemy. He is fighting a predator that planned this moment long before he declared war. The alien counterattack falters. Beams fade. Plasma turrets fall silent. Torpedoes stop launching. One by one, their weapons die under the precision of human strikes. Even the sound of their arrogance, the loud, proud voice they carried into battle, is gone now. All that remains is the crackle of dying comms and the distant echo of collapsing ships. Human ships advance, their engines burning cold and controlled. Not a single formation is broken. They look like a wall of black steel pressing down on a cornered animal. The Emperor finally gives the order to retreat, but it's already too late. Their escape routes are sealed. Their jump drives have been systematically targeted and disabled before they even knew they were in range. Humanity doesn't leave gaps. One alien battleship tries to break through the net anyway, pushing its engines beyond safe limits. Its hull shakes violently as it accelerates, plasma streaming from its sides. But the Terran fleet doesn't even waste railgun shots on it. A swarm of interceptor drones streaks forward, their small bodies carrying high-density kinetic rounds. In seconds, the ship is shredded mid-flight, torn apart into flaming fragments. The Emperor watches it happen, his hands shaking as he realizes the full scale of what he's facing. The humans never gave him a chance. They let him bring his entire fleet into a trap so perfect that even retreat has been turned into a coffin. Inside the Terran flagship, the general finally allows himself a breath, not of relief but of calculation. His voice is steady. Hold the line. Cut them down systematically. No survivors on their main combat wings. His officers nod. They don't speak more than necessary. The plan is already clear. This is not just victory, it's domination. The alien fleet is burning, their attack shattered, their counterattack erased before it ever meant something. The human fleet pushes forward without hesitation, railguns continuing their rhythm like the heartbeat of a machine. The alien emperor falls silent on his burning bridge, watching his empire's might crumble in the face of something he never respected. The last thing he hears over his fractured comm network is the sound of screaming captains begging for orders that no longer matter. The counterattack is dead. Their legend of invincibility is over. In front of them stands not prey, but a hunter they laughed at for too long. And this hunter is now tearing them apart without a single ounce of mercy. Humanity has spoken through action alone. Their railguns do the talking, and every impact is a reminder that arrogance is a poor shield against precision. The alien fleet is collapsing like a glass empire under a hammer. One by one, their once proud warships tear apart in the void, their glowing armor shattering into drifting fragments that scatter like burning stars. The mighty eternal fleet that once struck fear across entire sectors now looks like a graveyard of broken giants. Railgun slugs keep flying through the black, invisible until impact, ripping through steel and hull as if the armor was nothing more than paper. There are no heroic counterattacks anymore, no proud battle formations, no songs of victory. The aliens aren't fighting now, they're surviving, or at least trying to. But there is no survival. Humanity's precision is too sharp, too fast, too merciless. Their silence is worse than any war cry, a cold storm devouring everything in its path. The alien commanders scream through broken comms, demanding someone, anyone, hold the line. But the line is gone. It was gone the moment the first railgun slug hit. The alien emperor stands on his burning flagship, smoke and sparks raining down around him. The bridge is cracked, consoles broken, alarms screaming in all directions. Officers run like trapped animals, their faces pale, their hands shaking. No one knows where the next shot will land because there is no pattern. Humanity isn't fighting like an empire, they're fighting like a predator that knows exactly where to strike to kill. The Emperor's tactical display is a graveyard of blinking red markers, showing ships lost faster than he can count. Entire divisions have vanished without even managing to fire back. Their unbreakable armor has become their tomb, each slug slicing cleanly through layers they thought would make them gods. A voice breaks through the static on the bridge, one of his surviving admirals screaming, "We can't stop them. We can't even see them." The line dies with a burst of static as another ship goes dark. The Emperor grips the railing so hard his hands bleed, but the truth has already crushed him. The fleet he built for centuries is dying in minutes. Out in the void, the Terran fleet moves with terrifying order. Not a single ship is out of place. Every warship, from the smallest interceptor to the largest carrier, advances like a blade sliding through flesh. They do not need to talk. Their formation is an old rhythm carved into every pilot, every captain, every gunner. Railgun towers rotate slowly, methodically picking targets with the precision of a surgeon. When they fire, there is no flash, no warning, just sudden death at a distance. Alien ships don't even get to scream before they break apart. Drones dart between wrecks, piercing through weakened hulls to disable anything that still dares to move. The Terran flagship looms at the center, its main railgun glowing with a slow, deadly pulse. Every time it fires, another alien capital ship splits in half, its armor melting from the sheer energy. The alien admirals try to form a defensive line around the Emperor's flagship, their remaining cruisers and battleships gathering like frightened animals clinging to their alpha. But humanity sees their movements before they're even finished. A new wave of tungsten slugs slices through their protective wall with surgical precision. Two cruisers are cut clean in half, spinning out of control. One battleship explodes from an engine hit, its burning wreckage smashing into another ship beside it, taking both down in silence. The aliens had believed that sheer numbers and armor made them untouchable. Now their numbers work against them, turning their fleet into a chain reaction of death. Their formation collapses further, every broken ship becoming another obstacle that traps the survivors. Inside the human flagship, the atmosphere is cold and steady. Officers don't shout, they simply execute. Tactical overlays show exactly where the alien formation is weakest, and that's where the railguns strike again and again. The general stands with the same calm expression he's worn since the first shot. He doesn't look like a man fighting a war. He looks like someone finishing a job that was decided long ago. Sector 3, clean sweep, he says softly. A second later, a cluster of Terran cruisers turns their barrels toward a knot of alien ships trying to flee. The slugs hit so fast and hard that the ships don't explode. They simply fold and vanish into twisted debris. Sector 5, hammer. The general continues, and the main gun of the flagship roars in silence. Its slug piercing through 3 alien vessels in a straight line. It's not even a fight. It's an execution. The alien emperor can barely stand as he watches the screen fill with gray markers where his ships used to be. How? He whispers, his voice cracking, more to himself than to anyone else. How can they tear us apart so easily? But he already knows the answer. Arrogance. They built their empire on fear, on the illusion that no one could pierce their armor. They believed strength was shouting the loudest, marching the hardest, never considering that someone out there might be silent and smarter. Humanity wasn't trying to match their strength. Humanity built something designed to destroy them where they felt most secure. The Emperor staggers forward, gripping a console, as another impact shakes the ship. Somewhere deep below, parts of the flagship are already breaking off. He can hear metal screaming through the hull. The alien fleet is now less of a fleet and more a collection of drifting wrecks. Escape pods shoot out like fireflies, scattering in every direction. Some are caught in the crossfire, some collide with debris, some just vanish into the void, their occupants praying someone will save them. But humanity does not care. The Terran fleet advances without hesitation, locking on to anything that still transmits an enemy signal. Their railguns speak for them. Cold, fast, final. The few alien ships still capable of firing launch desperate salvos, their beams wild and unfocused. The Terran ships dodge effortlessly, their movements clean, deliberate. It's like watching a professional fighter dismantle a drunken brawler. The alien fire dies almost as soon as it begins. One alien commander, shaking, sends a final transmission to the Emperor. His voice is filled with terror, not honor. We were wrong. We should never have mocked them. Then his signal cuts off, his ship erased by a railgun slug before he can finish his sentence. The Emperor lowers his head. For the first time in his life, he feels what his enemies must have felt for years, helplessness in front of an unstoppable force. Humanity has not sent a single message, not made a single demand, not opened a single diplomatic channel. Because this isn't about negotiation. This is about showing the galaxy what happens when you poke the quiet beast long enough. The Terran general finally looks up from his console. His eyes are cold, unblinking, the kind of look that belongs to someone who has seen too many wars and survived them all. Finish the fleet, he says quietly. Across the Terran formation, ships shift again, forming a tightening ring around the burning remnants of the alien armada. Railguns power up for the final wave. Drones accelerate. The void grows darker. The alien flagship trembles as its escorts vanish one after another. Its armor, the pride of the Empire, is now cracked and bleeding. Fires crawl along its hull like veins of light in the blackness. And in that moment, the alien Emperor understands something he never believed before. Humanity doesn't roar before it strikes. Humanity doesn't warn. Humanity waits, and then it erases. As the Terran fleet closes in for the kill, the alien fleet ceases to be an army. It becomes a memory, a broken legend drifting among the stars. The unbreakable fleet has fallen, not with glory, but with silence. And in that silence, the galaxy will remember this night. Humanity didn't just win a battle. Humanity ended a myth. The silence after the storm is heavier than the battle itself. The alien fleet, once a proud symbol of their empire's might, floats broken and burning in the void, its ships reduced to drifting carcasses. Where thousands of vessels once moved in perfect formation, only wreckage remains. A graveyard scattered across a dead sky. The mighty flagship, the Emperor's throne of power, bleeds fire from deep fractures across its hull. its once golden armor now a cracked and blackened shell. There is no more plasma fire, no beam weapons, no cries of arrogance echoing through open channels. All that remains is static, the soft hiss of broken comms, and the quiet hum of Terran railguns cooling in the dark. Humanity's fleet has not suffered chaos. It stands in perfect formation, a wall of cold black steel, surrounding the wreckage like a circle of silent judges. In the Terran flagship's command room, no one is celebrating. No one is shouting or cheering. They knew this outcome long before the first slug was fired. This was not a gamble. It was precision, strategy, inevitability. Officers work quietly, scanning the field, ensuring no alien ship escapes the ring. Drones sweep the perimeter like wolves sniffing for stragglers. Every move is controlled, silent, almost ritualistic. At the center of it all stands the Terran general, his face as hard as the steel surrounding him. His eyes are locked on the shattered alien flagship. His fleet has crushed empires before, but this one carried the loudest arrogance. Now it lies dead like all the others. He lowers his chin slightly and gives a single nod. Communications open across every surviving alien frequency. For the first time since the battle began, humanity speaks. A single voice cuts through the static, deep and steady. This is the Terran fleet. The voice is calm, not triumphant. You thought armor would save you. You believed your strength would shield you. You mocked us. You provoked us. And now you have your answer. The words carry through every broken alien ship, every shattered bridge, every escape pod drifting helplessly. There is no screaming, no threats in the voice, only cold fact. The Emperor, slumped on the burning bridge of his flagship, raises his head slowly, the blood on his face reflecting the flickering red of dying systems. He stares at the flickering comm screen as the Terran voice continues. We do not seek your surrender. We do not need your permission. We do not ask for mercy. We gave you silence, and you mistook it for fear. Now you understand. Humanity does not fear. The alien officers, those few still alive and listening, sit frozen in their chairs. Many of them had spent years laughing at human weakness, calling them fragile, mocking their silence. Now they listen like children caught in the dark. Some cry quietly, some shake, others can't even breathe. The Emperor forces himself up on trembling legs, gripping the railing. Around him, his command crew is dead or dying. The bridge stinks of burnt metal and smoke. He looks at the comms panel and manages to whisper, "This isn't possible," but the words feel empty in his mouth. He had believed his fleet was eternal. It lasted less than a single night against humanity's guns. On the Terran flagship, the general raises his hand. Project the field. A massive holographic image of the Terran fleet expands across alien channels. Every alien captain who's still conscious sees the black wall of human warships surrounding them. There are no weaknesses in the line, no gaps, no sign of fatigue. Humanity's ships move like one living entity. The general's voice cuts through again. You believed you were untouchable. You believed your armor made you gods. Look at your fleet now. Look at what arrogance cost you. If this was not clear before, let it be clear now. Earth does not kneel. The alien emperor clenches his jaw, staring at the sea of black warships on the display. For the first time in his reign, he has no army, no shield, no escape. His empire built its power by crushing those who couldn't fight back. But humanity didn't kneel. Humanity watched. Humanity built in silence. And when they struck, they didn't just break ships, they broke the myth. His legs give way, and he drops to his knees on the ruined bridge, surrounded by smoke and flickering sparks. There is no sound but the Terran fleet's cold voice echoing through the dying comms. This was never a war of strength, the general says. This was a war of patience. And you lost the moment you decided to mock what you didn't understand. Across the scattered wreckage, alien survivors whisper in terror. Some try to send distress calls to distant colonies, but the Terran fleet has jammed every frequency. Others drift in silence, their minds unable to process what they've witnessed. A few high-ranking officers sit quietly, staring into the black, knowing their names will forever be attached to this humiliation. The great eternal fleet, the symbol of their invincibility, didn't fall in a glorious, long war. Fell in one night, in one storm of tungsten slugs. The Terran general closes his eyes for a brief moment, not to savor victory, but to engrave the silence. Every empire they've faced has made the same mistake. They laughed. They underestimated. They believed humanity was weak because it was quiet. But humanity is never quiet out of fear. Humanity is quiet because it knows exactly when to strike. He opens his eyes again, his voice lowering into something colder, sharper. To any who hear this, he says, this is your warning. Do not test Earth. Do not wake what sleeps in silence. On the alien flagship, the Emperor can barely breathe. His empire was built on fear, and now that same fear has turned on him. He whispers the word Terrans, like a curse and a prayer all at once. His crew is gone. His people are watching. The galaxy is watching, and they all now know the truth. He lowers his head, the weight of defeat crushing every last ember of his pride. The Terran fleet begins to move. They don't stay to gloat. They don't raise their banners in celebration. One by one, their black warships turn and vanish into the void like ghosts fading back into the darkness. They came like a shadow and left like a storm's echo. The alien emperor falls to the floor of his ruined bridge, surrounded by the broken bones of the fleet he once called invincible. His people will remember this day not as a glorious war, but as the night humanity's silence ended. The galaxy will whisper this story for centuries. They will whisper about the Black Fleet that came without a warning and erased a legend. They will whisper about the voice that spoke once and broke an empire. And they will remember that night forever. The night humanity didn't beg, didn't defend, didn't fear. Humanity judged, and the galaxy trembled. The Terran fleet slips back into the void as silently as it appeared, their engines cold and precise, their formation dissolving into the endless black. No song of victory follows them. No cheers rise from their ships. They do not celebrate. They vanish like a blade sliding back into its sheath, leaving behind nothing but silence and wreckage. The once mighty alien armada floats lifeless in the darkness, reduced to broken husks and drifting debris fields. What was supposed to be the greatest show of power in galactic history has become a silent monument to arrogance. The alien emperor lies slumped on the cracked floor of his ruined bridge, surrounded by the twisted skeleton of the flagship he once believed invincible. His hands shake as he stares at the cold glow of failing consoles. No fleet responds to his calls. No reinforcements come. The universe that once feared his power now listens to a single name with dread: Earth. Across alien colonies, across conquered worlds, the news spreads faster than any signal ever has. The eternal fleet is gone. Not defeated in a long campaign. Not slowly worn down by attrition. Erased. In one night, the galaxy, which once mocked humanity, now whispers its name with the fear once reserved for empires. In taverns, in shadowed war rooms, in the cold halls of other alien rulers, the story spreads like fire. They had the strongest armor, the largest fleet, the greatest confidence, and they still fell. Alien leaders stare at the grainy footage of black Terran warships emerging from the darkness, surrounding their enemy like a noose and leaving nothing behind. For centuries, these same leaders had laughed at the idea of humans being a threat. Now they speak in hushed voices, realizing the silence they once mocked was never weakness. It was a warning. In the Terran command, deep beneath layers of encrypted comms and silent relays, the general stands on the deck of his flagship. The crew works around him in the same quiet precision they showed during the battle. No medals are handed out. No speeches are given. This victory is not a surprise to them. It is the result of decades of waiting, building, and planning while the galaxy turned its back. They do not conquer for glory. They act because they must. The general looks out at the fading field of debris, a graveyard of an empire's arrogance, and speaks in a voice steady and low. They will remember. His officers nod without words. They already know. Every empire will remember. Every arrogant ruler will think twice before pointing their fleets toward Earth again. In the alien capital, the Emperor's image flickers across the public channels. He is no longer the towering figure of strength he once was. He stands alone on the cracked bridge of his broken flagship, staring into a camera surrounded by smoke and twisted steel. His voice is low, broken, trembling. Not from pain, but from something far worse. Fear. "We thought we were gods," he whispers. "We were wrong. We woke something we did not understand." Billions of his people watch in silence as their ruler confesses their empire's greatest defeat. They watch the fear in his eyes and feel it in their own chests. This is not just a military loss. It is the death of their pride. Across the galaxy, alien soldiers who once boasted of their unbreakable fleet lower their heads. Leaders who once bragged about human weakness tighten their borders, suddenly aware of how fragile their empires really are. Traitors speak the word Terran, as if it were a curse. Civilians look to the stars at night and imagine black warships gliding silently in the dark, waiting. Every power, every kingdom, every loud voice now carries a shadow in the back of its mind. The memory of this night. In the Terran War Command, Earth itself remains untouched, silent as always. The fleet returns to its hidden docks around dead stars and cold stations, disappearing into the dark like it was never there. Humanity does not broadcast its victory. They do not send demands or ultimatums. They know the galaxy will do the talking for them. The railguns, the silence, the precision, those are their message. The general walks through the observation deck, watching the last alien wreckage fade from the tactical screens. His steps echo softly. This was never about conquest. It was about reminding the galaxy that silence is not weakness. It is the sound of something waiting, something old and unstoppable. Back on the alien flagship, the Emperor sinks to his knees as the emergency lights flicker out. Around him, the cold void presses in through cracked hull plates. He knows his name will be remembered not as the ruler who led his people to glory, but as the fool who mocked the Terrans. The fool who mistook silence for fear. The fool who thought armor made him a god. His last thought before the power fails is not about his empire, but about the black wall of Terran warships. So quiet, so precise, so merciless. The galaxy turns cold in the weeks that follow. Empires that once roared fall silent. Alliances shift. Old enemies retreat behind their borders. Weapons research accelerates, not for glory but out of fear. Diplomatic channels to Earth fill with careful, cautious messages. No one wants to be the next to stand where the Eternal Fleet once stood. The image of the Emperor kneeling in front of humanity's silence spreads like wildfire. The message is clear. The myth of invincibility is dead. A new power stands in the shadows, not loud, not boastful, but absolute. In the Terran archives, the battle is recorded with a single line. No grand name, no long description. Just a designation, Operation Silence. Humanity never needed to scream to be feared. It only needed to strike once. And that single strike rewrote the balance of the galaxy. Now, every ruler who looks to the stars will remember the night when arrogance died and silence spoke louder than any fleet. Humanity did not just win a battle. Humanity claimed its place as the shadow behind every throne, the storm behind every whisper, and the galaxy will never sleep as easily again.